So, you ever look at your to do list and think to yourself, there is no way that I'm going to get all this done in a timely manner? Time management is a skill that is built, developed, cultivated even over time. And today on this episode, what I want to talk to you about as we prepare for my favorite season of the year, which is the pharmacy postgraduate training application season, is time managing in a manner that feels organic to you and it doesn't feel like something else you need to learn how to do. And on this episode, I'm going to share practical tools on how you can manage your time in a way that not only seems logical, but it also doesn't seem like something you need to keep track of and balancing. This is Success in Doses. If this is your first time joining me, welcome to Success in Doses. This is a podcast that's been created exclusively with the young professional in mind, the person that has big goals, that has huge dreams, and they are trying to figure out what the best strategy is for them to move towards accomplishing those goals. My name is Saley. I am your host of Success in Doses, and I'm so glad that you're joining me for a very important conversation today regarding time management. I think that time management continues to be one of those things that we should all be on the lookout for to figure out if there are better ways, better strategies, how AI's introduction and emergence really in our daily workflows, how that can be something incredibly powerful in helping us stay organized, but also feeling like we are making progress and moving things forward. And so this episode is not really meant to be like very long because I wanted to come today and really give you practical stat doses that you can begin applying immediately. And the reason for that is we know that residency is revving up. More things are getting onto your calendar. We know that pharmacy residency application season is coming up, and you have to learn how to balance that with all of the daily responsibilities that you have at rotation and where you're going every day, not to mention the folks applying for pharmaceutical industry fellowships. So, before we get into this episode, what I'm going to ask of you. I'm going to ask you to like, share, and subscribe and rate and review this podcast wherever you are listening. You taking this step to help make the podcast discoverable really, really helps me on what I know has been a journey and a goal of mine in reaching as many people as possible and becoming a source of information and solution for everybody that's trying to figure it out no matter where they are in their professional journey. And so a like, a comment, subscription, rating and reviewing the podcast in particular really helps me in this fight against the algorithm to tell it that more people are in fact interested in what we are all doing here. I appreciate you being here and I thank you in advance for the support. So let's get into time management. For a lot of people, when they hear time management, their mind literally goes to, oh, in order for me to be able to say that I have effective time management skills, it means that all of the things that come my way, I say yes to them and I get them done. When in fact, time management has very little to do with how many times you're raising your hand and how many times you're saying yes first and to opportunities and things like that. It is related, however, to understanding your bandwidth and how far and how much you can take on at once, but the two are not really related. And so for me, the first strategy, and I have a series of things that I've leveraged personally as a person that is doing a lot. I am running a business, ResiPrep 360. I am hosting this podcast that is a part of that ResiPrep umbrella and universe. But in addition to that, I am a tech founder. I am working actively on building a tech platform that requires a lot. I am presently a part of a pre-accelerator that I'm involved in as part of that journey of being a tech founder. All of that isn't enough. I also have a full-time job. So that's life professionally. Now let's look at my life personally. I am a mom of a 2.5-year-old kid that happens to be a boy, a very energetic boy. I am an older sister to 6 siblings, right? So the group chat stays live all the time where I have to be emotionally available for my siblings. I am married, right? And I have a partner and a husband of almost 7 years now. And so all of these different things and all of these different roles that I have in my life require attention, they require nurturing. And if I don't figure out how to manage my time well, I am going to suffer. Those relationships are going to suffer. But more importantly, the things that I am committing to are going to suffer because I'm going to constantly find myself last minute slapping things together or not showing up for people that I care about and love, which is something that would hurt me deeply, right? So for me, learning how to time manage, leveraging the proper tools to time management is more than just, oh, that would be a great idea for me. I honestly think that it's a survival tool for where I am currently in my life. And so in that journey, the first thing that I wanted to share with you about effective time management is just understanding that your brain is for ideas, not storage. I know. Revolutionary, right? What I'm saying here. But what I mean by this is for me, when things start to just live in my head, they are so much more scarier, right? Like they just seem like things I can't get to and get done and strategize around because the ideas in my head at the time or the task in my head, it just seems so big. And so, my first tidbit for you is find a way to take things out of your mind and put them on paper. When I say paper, it may not mean literally for you. For you, it may be a voice note. For you, it may be just a notepad on your phone. It may be your sticky notes that you keep around the house. I was a sticky note girl at home for a very long time. They were all over the place upstairs in our room. But that's how I was discovering my creative process and my problem solving skills was just by making sure that I had a system for whenever ideas came to my mind, I have an immediate way of putting them down, right? A quick brain dump can be so powerful. If a project is brought to you and you're asked to take a look at that project and work on that project, or you've been brought onto a team and you have that first meeting and you learn about what is expected of you on that project, putting everything you understand about the project and your role and your responsibility down can really, really, really help with the level of anxiety and anxiousness that you may feel initially because you new. Some tools that I have experimented with and used over the years, Notion is pretty much right now on everybody's mind. Google Keep is another great tool, but I can tell you this with absolute certainty that I absolutely am a pen to paper type of girl. For me, it has to come out of my mind and go on paper because I journal so religiously and I have a style and a system of how I express my thoughts and myself on paper. So for me, what has worked is to make my first initial space for brain dump pen to paper. And for you, you may experiment with other things like voice notes and things like that. The next tidbit I have for you is you need to prioritize like a CEO. And when I say prioritize like a CEO, that may sound like really corny or whatever, but in actuality, you are the CEO of your own career. You are the CEO of your career. So if you don't treat your career like a business and you don't treat your career like something that needs immediate, attentive managing, this is where you are going to miss out not just on opportunities, but you're also not going to understand how important and serious it is that you are structured and organized about your time and the things that you say yes to and the things that you say no to. Talk to any CEO and they'll tell you that they have figured out that they can't do it all on their own. Understanding how to delegate and what to delegate only comes if you have a thorough understanding of what you need to do and what is required of you. Again, why brain dumps are so important. But you're going to need to experiment with a lot of different productivity models in order to make sure that you are prioritizing appropriately. It's very important that everything every day isn't urgent. That's not good for your stress level. If when you wake up every day and everything that is on your plate to do that day is priority level number one, this is usually a sign that you're not time managing well and you're not prioritizing well, right? If you are prioritizing appropriately, any given day shouldn't have more than two urgent things that you need to be working on actively to try to move forward. Okay, so that's my tidbit number two. It's important that you are prioritizing appropriately and understanding what is the level of urgency on all of the things that I need to do. And if you take a look at that list and it seems like everything is urgent, you really need to reevaluate and recalibrate your time management strategies because prioritization may not be your strong suit. If you're listening, you're probably wondering, okay, well, how do I prioritize effectively? There are so many models out there that you can employ to figure out how to prioritize correctly. The point of this is really just making sure that you get that everything every day doesn't need to be priority number one. Things can actually wait their turn and every day move forward. The third thing is time blocking and theming. This is the thing for my productivity that probably of all the things I'm going to share today, this is the thing that completely changed the game for me. Learning that on my calendar, I needed to block time off for focus hour work. This means that I'm not in my inbox responding to emails. This means that I'm not just waiting for every email that come in, I jump on it right away, but really carving out 2 hours, 3 hours each day where I am focused on particular tasks because those tasks, I need to see progress on them. Completely transformed, first of all, the way people jump on my calendar at work because they're able to see that I've marked certain hours of the day as unavailable. Because it's also important. The reason why time blocking can also be super powerful is that urgencies, like weird things can pop up at work. You need to know that you have this buffer that is baked into your day that allows you to be able to jump on those emergencies or jump on and help a team member without sacrificing your own productivity. But if you are not time blocking and you're not carving out focus hour work as part of your day-to-day things that need to happen, your productivity and the way you're prioritizing will be all over the place because people see open time slots on your calendar. For all intents and purposes, you are available and they can jump on your calendar and talk to you or ask you to do various things. And the thing I want to just make sure we are clear about with that is if it doesn't live on your calendar, it doesn't exist, right? And so if you don't block off time on your calendar for focus hour work, then focus hour work just seems like this thing that may be a good idea, but you're less likely to actually commit to saying that from 12 to 2 p.m., I'm going to proofread something or I'm going to work on an SOP or I'm going to work on X, Y, and Z, right? That's the importance of putting things on your calendar because it puts you even from a psychological standpoint in a headspace of thinking, yes, I'm working on X, Y, and Z right now, and this is what needs to happen. The next time management tidbit I have for you is about setting limits and building in time to breathe. Your to-do list is infinite. Your energy is not. It's very important that you are taking responsibility for your mental health and you're taking responsibility to build in good practices in your day that allows you to come up for air, no matter how busy it is, right? We've talked about prioritizing. Like, honestly, I think that any day where more than 3 things are a priority, that's a problem. If more than 3 things are a priority in a day, it means that you're coming in and you will be on 1,000 for 80% of that day. And that's not healthy, right? you need to add breathing room in your calendar. So if you have a meeting from 1 to 2, you need to block from 2 to 2:30 or 2 to 2:15 as a buffer. Number one, that meeting can run over. Okay. If that meeting run over, the last thing you want is if you're making progress in a current conversation and you have to tell that person, I have a hard stop at 2 o'clock because I have another meeting that starts immediately after this. Building buffers into your calendar allows you to have a proper meeting, come out of that meeting, actually take your notes, do your documentation, do your journaling around what your next steps are after that meeting. And you're able to easily transition to the next meeting that happens in the next half hour or the next hour with no issue. But if you don't build in breathing time and buffering time, you're going to run up against some issues. The other tidbit I have for you in this area about building limits and having limits and breathing room in your schedule and time management strategy is any task. Really think about it. If there's a particular task that you know is going to take you less than 5 minutes to accomplish, do it now. There is no reason to leave that task off. If it's going to take you 5 minutes or less to accomplish right now, I need to send an email to this person to find out what is the name of this other person I need to reach out to in another department. That's a 2-sentence email. Do it now because that's going to open your mental capacity up. But also, you've already taken a first step towards something that needs to happen today, tomorrow, in the next week. And you've already got the ball rolling on that by asking the right questions. And so I think for this segment, it's very important that you are taking responsibility for your mental health and you're doing things like building buffers in your calendar. But also, if it takes 5 minutes or less to do it right now, it's going to be great for your productivity down the line. The fifth tool that I have used that's been very successful is an audit of my week. I do a weekly reset. Again, because I journal, this is very good. This is very helpful for me to go back through my week and look at my to-do list from every single day this week, check off my wins. That gives me such a satisfaction when I can say that things have crossed the finish line and I'm done with certain things. And then also go back over things that I made very little progress on and those things that I'm going to be carrying into the next week. The purpose and the reason why I love the weekly audit is it allows you to objectively look at the week you've had and think about what could have happened differently and areas that you can improve upon. But also, prioritization can happen at that time too, because something that may have been low priority this week and we didn't make as much progress on it this week, if that's going to move to my to-do list for next week, suddenly I'm going to have to bump that up a little bit on the list of priority, right? And so the thing that is very important with respect to resetting your weekly and making sure that you're looking at it is that you may find this as something that's going to be time consuming for you, but my advice is that there are some positives that can come out of this because you're going to have wins. There are going to be things that you really identify and say, yes, I got that to move 80% of the way, or that crossed the finish line completely. And you can also clearly identify the things that got stuck. What resources do I need to make progress on such and such, right? You'll be able to identify those things and adjust for the next day. This builds so much momentum into my week when I do this because I come into the next week with a really good energy and understanding of like exactly what I need to take and what I need to move forward with. And these are the things that I use to keep me organized. These are the things that I use to keep my momentum up and my energy up and my productivity up. And I hope that you use some of these tools. And if you do, let me know how they work for you. If you were successful in any and all of these things, but I would greatly appreciate it. A parting thing I want to leave you with. Time management is not about cramming more into your day. It really is not. It's just about making sure that you are reflecting and actually doing the things that matter the most. The only way that time management becomes your superpower is if you are really taking the time and understanding the things that need to cross the finish line and why, and in which order. And then you're also giving your energy and giving those tasks the level of energy it deserves, right? And so I want to encourage you that this is something that you're not going to become an expert at today after you listen to this episode. But my hope is that I gave you a little bit of insight on how I do it. And if you have other tools that you use that have been very effective for you, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. You can send me an email at Saley at successindoses.com, or you can DM me, and you can follow the show's page at Success and Doses Pod on Instagram. Please go check out the YouTube page at Success and Doses Pod and subscribe and like and leave me a comment about what you think of the episode and the podcast in general. Again, I could never thank you enough because you're choosing to make this episode and this podcast the first thing that you start your week with. I'm grateful for it, and I look forward to bringing you more content like this. But I need your help to make the podcast discoverable. As always, please keep in mind that success happens one step at a time. It is not a sprint, it's a marathon. Those small incremental steps we take towards our goal matter. It all adds up to transformation that we can really, really be proud of down the line. Thank you so much for being here and have a wonderful week. Okay, bye.